It's another episode of Let's Talk About Tomorrow on Enterprise TV where we discuss everything and everything. I'm your host, David, and today we'll be discussing African traditional values. Like many cultural traditions worldwide, they all face challenges due to various factors such as globalization, modernization, urbanization, and the influence of foreign cultures and religions. These influences can lead to shifts in values, lifestyle, and societal norms. Despite these challenges, many African communities continue to preserve and celebrate their traditional values, often finding ways to blend them with modern influences. Efforts to document, teach, and practice these native values can help ensure they remain an integral part of our cultural identity. Now, to discuss this with me today is Inyolua. It's nice to have you on the show again.
It's my pleasure.
Go skip my comments for later. And my baby girl, Light. She's my friend. She's a very fine girl. I won't say she's looking for a man, but God will do it for her. And the one and only Mr. Back.
This boy.
That's it.
Enemy have suffered.
Will you just leave this lady alone?
No. I asked her out and she told me no. I'm not going to sleep by her.
Did you?
No.
Did he do that?
He didn't.
He could never have.
Never.
Because I knew I would have.
She denied it.
I would have endorsed
Denied,
it.
she denied.
I wouldn't have endorsed it.
Even did your endorsement. You come for it. God bless you. Okay, now, since you are the daddy in our midst, do you think? Yeah, now let's do this. Do you think the ways that have been set out to preserve our cultures are effective enough? Like teaching, documenting, and practicing.
I don't think it is.
Uh,
I mean,
you tell us the faults and then you give us ways you think you can do better.
we've had these conversations over time. I'm not Yoruba, I'm not Lagos, but I'm in Lagos and I'm in Lagos now.
Mm-hmm.
That alone could negatively impact my culture. First things first. I was some years ago where I went to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
They were selling food. Then they were making cocoyam, the yam or cocoyam. So I said, is this for sale? They said, no. They said in Yoruba, they said, this is food that is unique to the Egba, and we are going for a marriage or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they are cooking it to take it to that place.
I think it's Ebriko.
Something like that. Porridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you will most likely find Ebiriko in the
Yoruba wedding.
yes. No, not wedding. There in Egbaland where it is.
Okay,
When it's
yes,
done, you
yes,
find
yes.
it in London
right.
or Lagos or Enugu. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know your food, if you can't speak a language effectively, if you don't appreciate the unique way your people dress, if you don't understand how you greet your elders and how children are supposed to respond to the elders, or even how elders talk to children, in Yoruba, you have Ewa and Wa, like come.
Yeah. The same thing, but
Those nuances, yes, those nuances, which I never like. I mean, even the French have it. English does not. So, if you're not domiciled within the immediate locale of your culture or of your tribe, you stand the risk of
Losing your
losing
culture.
again. But the same factors that we've adduced, usually like this as being anti-cultural drivers, could also be used to drive culture. For example, somebody sent us a link on the WhatsApp group yesterday that today by 2 p.m. they're teaching my language, the Kreke language on YouTube. So I will make sure that my children let's watch those videos and learn. Tech can come to the rescue. But I don't think that the way the world has gone, globalization, because in this milieu of globalization and modernization, it is the stronger cultures that swallow up the weaker cultures. So it is the bigger cultures that swallow up. For example, we are 4 on this table. Only one is wearing a native dress. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The 3 of us we are wearing
English.
And Imolayo, I don't know why she went to. Is it Pem or Relax or what do you call it now? You have gone to westernize your hair. Why are you not happy making Suku and what's the other one?
Shuku.
Shuku and
all back.
or even
Nah, all
Congos.
back is worldwide.
Why you not using
Worldwide.
shuku? Why are you wearing this one?
I should wear shuku to work.
If,
It's my workplace.
I am not an African.
I know,
And my workplace is an African place.
Now there are certain styles you can do with your hair.
Okay, I should apply those red beads too. You don't mind, right?
But see,
no.
the
If
word
I
of-
apply those red beads, you would not
it's
mind.
not- please go and first of all go and shave off all this hair because you are
We're not doing African queen here.
go and now allow your natural hair, which is your natural African woman, to
Okay.
grow. Then you now braid it. You don't even use hair extension. It's an African.
Okay.
Come on, what is you going to use?
But yeah, I don't know.
There's
Yeah.
thread, there's thread,
Thread.
there's thread, guys, there's thread.
How you guys in it? Are we supposed to know that?
Then she will do it Macaulay Day.
Shebi, you have a woman, right? because we are trying to preserve our culture. Would you have how your woman do?
Talk about yourself. She's not
That's the
here.
time now.
Can you?
Talk about-
No, now.
Now that
Would you allow? Would you?
Time. If I have a babe, no. Preference aside,
Check,
aside.
brother.
There are sometimes that she's me that is going to pay for the hair. I will tell her, go and do the Abi how they call it. This one that is rubber that they will roll it. Nah.
When somebody is not Chukwamaka,
It's fine.
or
But it's fine now.
indigo. You see that hair? That one with rubber is for the
African is African. They hold on first. African is
Okay.
African. But so that's where I was going. Solution, we could use tech, but let's first of all talk about the issues, right? Before we go to solution. So these factors are real in the modern world. I mean, after colonialism came and the colonizers left, they couldn't have taken everything with them back. They gave us banks. Not that we didn't have banks in Africa, but like they gave us a lot of the banks, formal education and so on.
They give us banks.
The banking system.
Then we had Kolo.
No. That's what I said. They gave us their own banking system. Okay. And now to work in a bank, you can't wear a bag on a Monday morning. They send you back at the gate. And so you have to wear shirt and tie,
You have to look formal.
You have to look, in quote, formal. I mean, who defines being formal? It's relative. Our president doesn't wear, well, as a Nigerian president wearing shirt and tie.
I recently came across a very stunning picture of Tinubu in suits.
You don't take. It's not today.
It's not recent.
You don't take. Well. So the world we live in today is not congenial, does not lay the ground for African culture to thrive.
Yes. Now with that, we just say that after colonization, we dwelled so much on teaching the British culture.
No,
and we
so-
forgot to teach ours. Because it is just now that they've started inculcating
Incorporating
incorporating Yoruba
Language,
culture, Yoruba language into the school systems.
In the manner of
Systems.
speaking, you have to give it to the Yoruba. They have had a better run and understanding of they need to concentrate their culture. The way, I mean, in Lagos, for example, Lagos House of Assembly, the lawmakers, they hold plenary in Yoruba. I think every Thursday also, they hold plenary when they all seated. They hold it in Yoruba, which is a good thing to do. Schools too. I think the Nigerian educational laws something says that a child must be taught in the indigenous language of where he has enrolled for school for the first 2 years. Now, I'm not sure if that thing is followed through. When I was small,
Not.
there was Kerekeni Godiri, which is basically like saying the reader, cricket, reader. So we learn things like Bombole, Bala, Barabere, Boko, Chere, like you use the sound. Every language has its own unique
Sounds.
sounds. So we used, I think my language is about 37. That's what makes up our alphabet. So they made it into a song when we're singing those songs. Those things helped us to, because if you can't speak a language, you've not yet had contact with this culture. So, but like again, we are in a world where if there was a law to say every local government, where it applies to states, but Nigeria can't do that at the federal level. On a particular day, business should be done in the local dialect. And when we bring forms for what you want to do, that there should also be you were talking about documentation, right? Is that you document
The number of languages.
no. That you documentation is done both in English and in the local dialect of where it can apply of that local environment. Maybe it will help, but we haven't taken any step Rather, what we are told, go and check the videos of independence celebration, October 1, 1960. They were dancing to those people's songs, and in Jamaica now you'll be drinking tea 4 times a day. That's the British way of behaving. So, but we didn't come back to say, okay, now that they've gone,
Let us also.
we didn't do that, and that for me is a great undoing. Do you know how bad this thing is? Our culture, our language, our food, our history. When this man Kunle Afolayan, you know him, the movie maker, the filmmaker, was to do October 1, that movie, he had to go to London to go and take props
For our own.
Yes!
Hey, that's.
He had to do that. Even our culture.
Thank you.
Because I think sometimes the mistake we made was that we joined. I'm not an African traditionalist in terms of religion, but that doesn't make me any less an African, because religion is only a part of culture. You can choose to believe in your belief system can be something else, but in terms of being a native of a land, being you could always connect with your own people and be who you are.
You know that even without saying it, a lot of the African countries has adopted the Child Right Act. Children now have rights.
Yeah.
Without saying it, though, we
Yes.
don't have it in our constitution, but now we have small rights as children. And I want to ask two of you, would you say that with all this evolvement, is it right to preserve our culture? Is it needed? Is it necessary? Or we should just evolve with the times?
Of course, it is. It is. In Yoruba, they say something. They say "Omotoba Soleno."
Sakoyako.
Sakoyako. You get so.
Hey, go back. We do not get it.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I explain this?
That Yoruba is very deep. Very no, that Yoruba is very deep.
Roughly translated.
Okay, like if like forgetting your source. So when you forget your source,
Forget
you
your
might
back.
actually run dry. You get it.
Okay.
Yeah. And they call it, maybe that source in Yoruba, they call it Orisun.
Yeah.
Níbi tá ti ṣe wá,
Are you-
where you like.
Originated from.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is very important that the culture is being preserved, and everyone in this part of the world learn about their culture and stay glued to it. So it is very important.
Carry your culture along generationally.
Yeah.
We teach.
Teach, we document, and we practice. So I think it is important in the sense that those people we borrowed our clothes from, what we are speaking presently, our ways of life.
Sorry, lest I forget. Sorry, just to quickly say this: we didn't borrow clothing. You know, some this denim you're wearing now, this one you loosely call jeans. We didn't take it from them. I hope you know that they came.
Is it false?
They came and stole Adire. What's it called? Ashoki. Then it's called cultural appropriation. Then made a lighter version of it into this jean you're wearing. So it's not their own. Some things you think we borrowed from them, they stole from us first. Then modified it and made it like what we needed to buy. So
One of the reasons why our cultures should be preserved. You are telling us now, I don't know. We weren't told that they came to take all of those things. We were not told.
To say still,
That's why our cultures needs to be preserved now.
Sure.
We were not told. All of this knowledge is just passed now.
Street
We weren't told.
lights. Street lights in the world. They're from Benin Kingdom.
Imagine.
Street lights.
This is why it's now. Imagine all of this you are saying now. We don't know.
Okay, so
And I've gone to primary school, secondary school, an institution, and I'm told, and still I don't know all of
you
these
read
things.
about the World War I and World War II, but they didn't tell you about the one that
So imagine.
I think I was in 200 level when I finally read how Niger area became Nigeria.
Okay. How the woman just fought. And it was initially going to be Goldesha. It was initially going to be something Sudan. But when one woman just woke up and said, you know what, those guys, she just wrote Nigeria in a newspaper. And they said, yeah, that sounds like a good name. Then they adopted it. So even Ghana was called Gold Coast. Upon independence, they said, you know what, we can't use the white man's name.
And they came back home.
So they had to adopt a name that was the name of an ancient African empire, the Ghana Empire. So they adopted Ghana as a name. But colonially, they were called Gold Coast. Nigeria didn't think much about its own identity and how it wanted to create its own niche for itself and become it. Like I said, Tubman Gold that brought the USC company, they almost named it after him, Goldesha.
Wow.
Zimbabwe today was Rhodesia now. After Cecil Rhodes, who explored the place.
Wow,
Yes, then they said no. Now,
I love the people of the South Africa. The people stress themselves. Just collect this. Now, okay, would you say they are cons? No, which one is good, con or pro?
Pros are good, cons are
Would you
negative.
say they are pros to, let's say, adopting other cultures? Like, let's say there are some cultures in Africa where you have to kill 6 maidens to usher a king in. The former king has to die before the next king will come in. You know, after colonization in most places, most of these
Shifted.
were washed away. Shifted is a
okay,
small word.
okay.
They were washed away. And in washing away, a lot of things followed. A lot of things too followed. Would you say that that's the pro?
No, not necessarily. What I would rather.
Wait, are you saying you would say? Oh, wait.
No.
Eh.
You know, cultures.
Full file and assessment.
No, hold on. You know, see, so from culture to culture, practices differ.
Okay.
So even you can't pick one particular item and generalize and say all cultures had it.
And not all cultures.
In my place, before a king is buried, before a new king is installed, the old one must be confirmed to have passed on and be buried. So when they came and took away the old king, you know, the white people came and is he captured or kidnapped? They took him away because we are not sure whether he was dead or alive. They didn't coronate him. Yeah. So what they did was to appoint a paramount chief who reigned until almost 1896 to 1960 something. It was more than certain that he won't come back. So they now had to what's it called? Install a new king. But having said that, not all African practices are necessarily anti-civilization. I don't think that today anybody will accept, especially in light of democracy, that anybody should be killed per se. If you commit murder, there's a punishment for that, quite all right. But that because somebody, if the third child is a girl, she should be killed. If not, she will bring harm upon the family. All those kind of things.
The likes of killing of twins.
Those things.
Not clean of things or something else.
No, it's controversial. Some people said that my sister didn't really. But see where I'm going. Mercy began out of what's it called? It's God that's angry that wants to kill man. So maybe some people now wanted to take care of those who are sick, and then began to observe that when people became maybe when the weather was cold or when the weather was warm, there were changes. That's how medicine has evolved over time. If you told a doctor that this man is a witch, they will not listen to you. Doctors simply follow what science has told them to do. So African culture today, at the time the whites met us, we were also still evolving. There was a time there wasn't where we are today. Yes, I think around the 13th century, all of us were on the same level actually. That was when they came, all the blacks in Brazil, like your Bible. All the Brazilian, Pele, the great footballer Pele, all the black boys, that were taken from Yoruba land here to Brazil in the 13th century. Europe wasn't really any better per se. But where I'm going is this. If we had been allowed to move at our own pace, nobody knows how far we could have gone. But for me, religion is only a part of culture. And no culture is autochthonous. I think that's the word. No culture is a culture that is an island all by itself. They happen like that. Yes, every culture borrows. A lot of words you use, this is a table now. It's a French word. The French will call it table. The English will borrow that call it table. And there are so many words like that there's up to 60% of the words in English are taken from French. Just that the pronunciation becomes different when it's taken. My language we say Anyi, in Yoruba they say Enyi. I think there's something similar in it.
Yes.
The word to see, when the people say you see ri or so, a Yoruba say ori, like to see, ri, you know. My language says ori. So I've heard people say nari. So then they repeat, there's something about it. So we can look at things that we feel are good that we can adopt. And then in light of our contact with the West, look at things that we can also borrow from there and use. There's nothing wrong with that. But how do we now, how is it that we lose our own essence? For example, parents, what's the name of your son? The boy's name is Success Matthew. You can't be Success Matthew, sir.
Matthew wants to be successful.
You can't be Success Matthew. What is your name? And I know them. Anytime I say them, I just know them. Matthew Peter. your name is Success Johnson. It's not, I think the beginning point should be that you should bear a name
that is native to you.
That is fiercely and strongly, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, that marks out who you are.
Identity.
Yeah, that gives identity and an attachment to where you come from. But we won't do that, and I think that over time, I mean, the Gen Zs today, I don't even think if they feel themselves like they owe wherever they are, is that what they call it? They don't give a hoot about where their own is that. Come on, man! If with your phone, we are citizens of the entire world.
Yeah.
Now, so you can be Australia, you can.
So, Les, can you give us one or two ways you think we can preserve our cultures better?
Ways which we can preserve our cultures better.
Or we can enhance the way we've been keeping our cultures?
See this question. Truly, our parents, our teachers, and people that we met here on earth are trying to actually preserve those cultures. But the problem is, how are we taking
The culture.
Yes, that's the point.
See,
It's not if they're not trying enough.
let me give you my expo.
But
Let me give you my expo.
I'm listening.
If you have a child that's 2 years old and you start speaking your language to that child from there, he's not only now learning English,
Okay.
he's also now learning your language. But if you wait till this child has mastered English to start learning,
It will be very difficult.
very, very difficult.
Okay.
So it starts from the roots. I would say it starts from the roots. Prostrating
I think they say
starts from the roots.
They say from 0 to 5. Once
Okay.
they pass 5,
They don't need to reach. They don't
Okay.
need to reach 5 this age. Once they start doing that, start speaking
Start Yoruba
Start the-
and
they will
okay, your
understand.
language to them so they would understand. So I think in schools now they teach different languages. We have Yoruba, we have
We just started. Not
no,
because we didn't do it too.
I did Yoruba when I was in my primary school. I did Yoruba in my secondary school. As a matter of fact, I did Yoruba in school in an institution, and it was it was a borrowed course. Anyways, because imagine a Yoruba girl borrowing Yoruba. Imagine. So imagine. But then, to some reasonable extent, at least they were able to pass it on to us. And meanwhile, I did English from my 100 level.
What do you mean 100 level? You did English since you entered school.
No, my second semester final year.
Immediately you
They
entered
come out
school.
for me. I'm not doing. Yes, I didn't. But from beginning till my final year in school, I did English language while I borrowed Yoruba as
I'm
a
telling
course.
you that. since
Do you get?
entered grade,
So I'm not sure if the education aspects they are trying enough or they are trying to force it on us. We will not accept it. It's they need to force it on us. You don't get it. We would not take it because technology and civilization has actually taken over the world. So I think the culture needs to be forced down on us, or else we will not take it. We love these Western cultures and everything.
It doesn't have to be diverse. You can just, we're in Yoruba land. All schools should have Yoruba language.
simple.
Very simple.
Parents are under
It
pressure.
doesn't mean.
Another tribes that are in Lagos, how would they learn?
It doesn't matter. At least you know one.
See, this is the point, right? People who are in a land, and I'll come to that, it's deeper than, but people who are in a land that is other than theirs. The law says where you are domiciled and enroll for school the first 2 years. Some parents take their children and send them back to their homeland to go and learn the language, whatever. They do that sometimes. Then number 2, it's here that if you pick the language, it's no harm. If as a parent,
It will even help you
it will
more in
even
the
help
future
because
if you learn
people like the
language of
Igbo,
the land.
Igbo community in Lagos, they speak Igbo, they speak
speak
Yoruba, and then they speak English language. You can actually speak as many languages as you can learn.
Of
Now,
course.
where I was going with this is simple. As a parent, once you have a child, the unspoken, unwritten goal for your child is that he's going to become a lawyer, doctor, whatever. He will train at the best schools in the world. He will become a global world beater. There is no, you're thinking about culture is like the last thing that will ever come to your mind.
Yeah.
Because right now, there's nothing, our culture does not seem to have been made to look like something that is worth.
It's important
Yes.
for-
So it
What
will
learning.
take, yes, it will take a country that understands the imperative of self-preservation. And to make that matter, let me give an example. Now, today, when you buy a laptop and you're typing, you are the one in Nigeria, a thief or a Doma or Nupe or a Gala or a Bira person, or you are the one that is fighting to tell the laptop that you are typing in British English and not American English. So if you type labor and there's no you put the U or something, you are the one, because the bigger cultures have, and they're not here with you, but they've imposed. They've told you must know what. So it is when we try to turn the tables culturally. You see, culture has power. It's not just about masquerade displays. That's not culture. Culture is about who we are as a people and what we stand for. Okay, the values that will shape our thinking and our civilization. So if we can, it is when we begin to rewrite the dynamics and begin to make ourselves drivers of a particular narrative or way of life that will begin to matter. Once our voice is heard, you see a parent to say, I want my son to become something that is worth something in our own country. And to achieve that, you see what I mean now? There will be a turn in attention to what we who we are.
So, I want to ask you, how do I want to phrase this question? If you are to learn a language from anywhere, would you allow your child to choose a language child to learn?
After learning the language.
You have your own, you are Yoruba, right?
Yeah.
Would you let your child go and learn Igbo?
Okay, if I get the question right.
From the onset, you gave birth to a child. You are Yoruba. He possibly does not understand Yoruba. But when this child starts speaking, he goes in, I want to learn Igbo.
Do you think that type or that kind of child will have that brain to make that kind of decision?
Yes.
He just likes it.
Just likes it.
Apart from maybe he wants to, he knows my language already, or he or she knows my
He has
language.
not even.
He does not. He just.
While you are trying to make him learn your language, he says he wants to
learn my language. My child develops
a like
Interest in him.
It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. You can't see. I think you tend to get influenced by the most place you stay. So when you did not hear Igbo from your mommy, you didn't hear it from your daddy. It's not that it is the official language in your school. So how come you want to develop
From friends or neighbors?
So, and it's not, at that time, I think I decide, or we as parents decide, okay, this is where you go, this is where you go. And we don't leave you to go into the Igbo-based community to where you don't even understand what they are saying. So I don't think it is very much possible.
Let's take this home. It is important that we have cultural communities and cultural events to drive on the culture. But would you say that those cultural events and cultural communities are made important by the society?
They are actually not
because you can
important by the society.
You can have a seminar now that has nothing to do with Nigerian culture, possibly another culture entirely, and then you will want your child to go there just to learn because it's an international something.
Yes.
But when we are having Yoruba, what's the name? Which very popular, which very popular Yoruba?
Yeah.
You say it's your own. The child should not go. What does he need to do?
The thing
it's not
is
important.
The thing is, I don't think even people that practice, when they say the word culture, sometimes you possibly think of language, but that's not the only
It's
thing.
more than language now.
It is very, very wide. But let me cite an example. There was this chronic traditionalist that they did a conference here in Lagos, and I saw the video on TikTok where they did IFA conference, and they wore suits to the event.
Yeah.
They wore suits and tie to the event,
And if I did not slap them,
and it was a big event for.
so you see what we're talking about. It may be adherence of that kind of thing. I also now trying to sell what they have to a so-called global audience.
Would you say our cultural activities are given enough importance like that? Is that true? Do you think
Not
it
at
is?
all.
No, they're not. And I'll just close by saying that where we fail to do this, we are hurting ourselves. We're not giving ourselves the best deal. And because if you won't develop your culture, no other person, because there's no stake in it. So,
On your own.
barring the things that you feel you shouldn't get involved in, maybe because you are Christian or Muslim, okay? But Proverbs, food, music. There's a song that's trending now, etiquette, mores, So the go thing about the what's it called, the elephant and the. I grew up when we used to gather and they would tell us stories and we'll sing and then because it's a very which fish has skills, which one does not have skills. If you think they'll slap you, that kind of thing. So there's nothing bad in preserving your cultural identity. If there are things in it that you won't participate in, it's fine. You can steer clear.
Well, that's all on today's episode of Let's Talk About Tomorrow. It is important to keep one's culture through teaching, documenting, events, and so much more we could do. That maybe I can't list them now. Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts on this. That's been very lovely. And you too. You can share your thoughts. You can engage us in the comment section. And if you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe at Enterprise TV 7 and follow us across all social media.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.